Okay, so welcome to the third Shi'ur, and in a few minutes we'll have Hananel Malka from the Ministry of Education join us, and Ruby will start. We're doing Dvarim and Yoshua and Shoftim today, right?
Yeah, I apologize. It's I keep on going over the material, and I feel badly that we only have one round of going over the material because it's impossible for me to ask. There's so many questions. For example,
I'll just mention in case you or people that are listening to the recording don't know. There's also, first of all, there's additional shiurim, which we did 2 years ago with Rabbi Gary Brody from South Africa, who did it, by the way, to those who prefer the English. His questions are 100% in English, so if you prefer that, you can watch his shiurim also. It wasn't according to the order, but each shiur was about different sfarim. And it's the same syllabus as your syllabus, so you can certainly do that. And additionally, at the Ministry of Education's website, there's additional questions, most of them in Hebrew, but we also have old tests in English that we can send your way if you're interested in watching that as well. Okay.
Right. Okay. First of all, Al Minemar, and don't shout out. We'll go try to give everyone a fair shake. Al Minemar Yedid Hashem. Now what happens is, and there is a reason why I'm asking this.
Yedid Hashem, the friend of God?
Yeah.
But that's specific quote, obviously.
Yes, it is. Minemar. Now, why? Well, the reason I'm asking this is because in our total material, there's also Yedidya. Okay, so what happens is, you have to differentiate. So, Jake, you can always say, I'll pass. There's no right or wrong answer.
Isn't Yedidya what Hashem called Shlomo Melech? Yedidya, and then I'm not sure the first one.
Well, it's first of all, to a degree, you would be right, but you could be wrong also on what you said, because there's it's I think in Shmuel Beis, Perkei Beis, it's a kriyim ksiv. Is it vatikra or vayikra? Okay, it is. I can't make this up. I could, but I'm not. So what happens is that it is about Shlomo. The question is, who named him? Somebody actually say, it's the Navi. Some say it's David. And some people say, no, it's Bathsheba, because it depends on the Kriya Ksiv. Okay, but that doesn't answer the question.
Shlomo, right? But Natan named him Yedidya.
No, right. So that's why if you have the Koran, it's on the left-hand page, about I guess 4 lines from the top. But I could be wrong. Okay, so what happens is about Minemar, and it's not a trick question I'm asking, but it's trying to. And you should differentiate between the two. So Minemar Yedid Hashem. Yitzchak.
Binyamin.
Right. In Vezot HaBaracha. Okay, Perek Lamed Gimel.
Right, in the blessings of Moshe before he died. And we're welcoming Hananel Malka. Shalom, Hananel.
Hey everyone, hello, how are you?
So,
we're good. If you could just improve your microphone or get close or something, because we can hear you a little bit better.
I don't think the problem is with the mic. Let's try.
And maybe it's your voice. Your voice.
Oh, it's better. Yes, maybe I should loud my voice. No, it's better. Right, great. Right. How is everyone? You okay? Learning, as I see.
Yeah. Well, we just started. We have Hadassah and Livia, and also Miri was here before, and Abigail, that you know already from England.
Which country? So Livia.
From England, yeah. Maybe we should just try and introduce yourself. Let's start with Canada. So Nava, you'll be first.
Hi, I'm Nava. I don't know, what am I supposed to say?
Where are you from? What city?
Yeah, Toronto.
Right, Toronto.
Okay, Laila.
So yeah, I'm Lila and I'm from Montreal.
Okay, and we stay in North America with Yitzhak.
I'm Yitzhak Spivak from Muncie.
Muncie, New York.
Yeah.
Kodesh Muncie, we should say. Right. Okay, usually we also have Elisha from New York, but he couldn't make it today. So let's cross the ocean and go to South Africa. Jake.
I'm Jake Weinstein and I'm from Johannesburg.
Nice to meet you. Jake.
Excellent. And now let's go. We'll start, I guess, if we're going south to north, we'll have to be in London first. So Hadassah.
I am Hadassah, I'm from London.
And Livia is from?
Hi, I'm Livia, I'm from Manchester.
Okay, and I think we covered everybody.
Yes.
Abigail Rowe, you know, from 2 years ago, she's one of the teachers, and she likes to listen in. It's not we don't talk about any secrets here, so it's okay. It's open. So, Ruby, why don't you introduce yourself also?
Yes.
I'm Roubi Stefensky. People, for some reason, call me Rabbi Stefensky. I have no smicha. I just been learning. I mean,
Because the Roubi, the rabbi, so it's like familiar. It's familiar.
No,
The reason.
that I went to Yeshivat Kotel, then Bar Ilan, and then I've been learning and learning. I try, to learn throughout all the decades. So.
And you've been teaching Chidon Tanakh in New Jersey, right? You taught Chidon
Tanakh in New Jersey. This is my 11th year doing it, and I've been very blessed, really blessed that the past 10 years I had 7 who went to the Olami.
Wonderful. Shekwa.
So most recently you taught, right, Jacob Kolchamiro and
no, I didn't.
Not Jacob.
Actually, Jacob Kolchamiro. It's interesting that with him, I actually proctored him when he was like in 8th grade at Manhattan Day School. What was it? Ilana Rosenblatt.
Rosenblatt last year.
Who tied for 4th last year, who ended up being in 5th place, and she's learning this year in Michlala.
Yeah, Hananel met her, Hananel and I met her on Chanukah. We brought her over to the Chidon Lemubim.
I saw somebody sent me 2 pictures of her, and one of them was with Avshalom Kol,
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hananel, I think maybe if you can introduce yourself, and then we'll
all right, so
delve down.
So my name is Hananel Malka. I am the coordinator of the Bible quiz in Israel. And I am the address, I think, to all the questions you have about the plan of the contest, about the questions, about the structure. I don't know, any other question in the camp, whoever will be here in the camp. I wish we could bring everyone to the camp, but we have the COVID problem. This is the 3rd year we have it. So in Israel, I think we are in a much better state than we were in like 2 years ago and like in last year. And now we just allow everyone to have the virus. We're not too excited from this. So in the camp, you already told them about the camp, about the program that we are planning?
No, we didn't really get into details.
All right, so
we just know the dates, but not much more than that.
Right, so we won't speak about it now, but we are from the Ministry of Education. We want that all the 16 will come here. All the contestants of the Chidon of the Olami and of the Futsot also, in which we can achieve it, because it depends on the rules we have in Israel, if you can enter or not, and of course about the rules in your countries. If it's, I don't know, in each country is different, so we should have to wait till then. So we cannot promise anything today, all right, about the camp, if it will happen or not. So we'll have to wait. That's all. But still, I'm very happy to see you all.
So what you're saying is that the camp, we're planning to have it, but we obviously don't know what the health rules will be in 2 months from now. So
planning it, of course, we're planning, and we hope we have all the 16.
16 plus 12, yeah. We had a question before. Somebody asked me if the 16 plus 12, so 28, that includes 4 Israelis, right? So it's 24 from the diaspora.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure. So I mean,
so I'm here. I mean, I ask me too. If you have any questions, right, you want to ask about the Chidon in general, because you're already the winners from your countries. All right. So you are already the candidates that will rise up to the Chidon. So if you have any questions that can sharp you more about how to learn, about learning in general. I didn't mention, but I am also the winner of 2015 in the International Adult Contest. So I have some experience about the Chidon myself. And of course, I am like the head of those writing the questions. Right? I'm not the writer, but I have like this team from Israel, from past winners of Chatanim, the Kalot, well, this greatest team of like doing the questions, and I wish to have it in the diaspora also, to see maybe yourselves can be this team in diaspora who can like put up the questions together to the different levels in the world, because you know now we have like public quizzes in South America, in North America, in Europe. So this is like a big thing to do. Big shlichut, not only for us, but I think that we will improve you. First of all.
Yeah, and I'll just mention that Hananel also and his team helped us write the questions. For example, I mean, just a few weeks ago was the England.
Because they're not only writing the questions, they're also like giving lessons, all right, to others here, and because they already won, and they ask themselves, all right, what can I do now in order to practice my Tanakh? Because now I don't have to learn anymore because I can participate. So I take those winners, and we're like doing this great team of and they're giving lessons. This is wonderful, and they're preparing the guys here in Israel to the Chidonim. Now in next Tuesday. Next Tuesday we have the district, public district Chidon, and we already have the school and the written district, and in March we're going to have the national and straight to the international. So we also, I don't know, I mean, you passed this already, right? You did the national in your countries early, and this is great. We're in Israel only in the district level, but it allows us, to my team that I just mentioned, to work a lot with the contestants. And maybe you can be those who can do the same in your countries. I mean, what Roubi do here for you, he teaches you to the Chidonim. So in my vision, I can say that we can like build those groups in each country of contestants or winners from the past. Maybe we can guide them all how to learn others, right? How to prepare them better to the Chidon. This is like the big aim, the big goal we want to achieve, because I don't know if you know or where, because in many countries in the world, basically in Europe, to be more specific, there are many who speak English or other languages, but they don't have this Roubi there for them, right? Because not everyone in Europe is like know very good the Bible, and it's like harder. And the languages, I don't know. I mean, each country is like a whole story, right? So maybe if you know other languages, and you can practice your English with people. I mean, it's true, Michai. We have in Europe people who speak English, yes? I mean,
we do, but there are countries, of course, which don't. And I can share with you that this year, I mean, Hanel knows already about one of them, but this year we have for the first time lessons in French also. So Laila, I don't know if you prefer English or French, but there's lessons in French. I have to say that in France, they started from the basics. Here, it's already for the high level, already for the winners, because you already won. And last week, we started for the first time a set of lessons in Italian. So it's the first time we've had lessons in Italian as well. Very exciting. And Be'ezrat Hashem, you know, we're hoping to continue this. And of course, these things are also recorded for future use. And we have a lot of other plans that we're doing together. Hananel helped us write the program also to the French program. He met with me a few months ago with the coordinator in France. So now Hananel knows also two of the things, and I'll ask you one question, which actually was written here in the chat. That is there a theme already for the Chidon? Haim yesh kvar noseh or pasuk to the Chidon this year? So what's the answer to that?
Yes, the main subject is like leaders and leadership. All right, this will be the main, the really main big issue. But as I say always, when I give tips to the contestants, don't trust it. All right, don't try now to look for the questions from this specific subject, because it's, you know, we can surprise you, and we always surprise the contestants. All right. So it's just for you to know, if you want to prepare, when you're more than welcome, but don't count on it that, all right, we're going to have the majority of the questions from this subject. No, it's not going to happen. All right. And I know it because we already wrote the exam. All right. So I can tell you this. This is only for the beauty, all right, of the Chidon. It's not really affect really hard about questions, and this is like a very big leadership. I mean, all the Bible is about leadership. All right. So what can you pin? What can you take? So, but you be my guest. Do it. Learn it. If it's
I remember about 5 or 6 years ago was also the theme was leaders.
Yeah,
and Nathan sure, and you can look. You can find online the Chidon for that year.
Look at the quiz there, right? 5 years ago, you said. All right, so it's
about 5 years after. Look it up and see it. I remember Nathan Sharansky was the
have like double questions. All right.
Yeah, he gave a speech there. He said, "Well, today everything is with leadership. My grandson has a leadership session in kindergarten." He said also, so you know they start developing leadership early these years, but it's a good theme, and again, the questions are connected to the theme, but sometimes they're very loosely connected, meaning they're not going to ask you about they will ask you about somebody who was a leader, but they'll ask you not about his leadership. They'll ask about what his mother's name was or something.
Even this is not necessarily true, because as I said, maybe in some question you're going to have like this very slight connection to the faith. In general, the questions are from all the Bible. So all of those who ask me what to learn, if there is any mikud, as you say,
to focus on specific
focal point.
Yes,
focal
so
point.
I saying no. Learn everything. You should know everything, and don't let anyone surprise you. Okay. So this is the thing. It's very important. You have like now a big advantage, because you now over all the time left to the Chidon to learn. Now, you know, I mean, the Israeli contestants will not know who is going to make up to the Olami till the end of March 23. This is like the end of the national. They have only 1 month to learn. So this is like for you, like you have.
Yeah. So because for us, we were surprised, not surprised, but it was like a news from today that they heard that the Chidon, the written Chidon will be not, you know, towards the end of April. It'll be on April 6th. Yeah. That means also, Mr. Stepansky, you know, that means our last shiur on April 10th will not be on April 10th. We'll probably do it on April 3rd, and then we'll see on April 10th what will be. But and by the way, you already divided the material The last, I think, is already at the end of March anyway. So we're not missing any of that of the material, but it'll be one less lesson with you to practice before the Chidon. And but now you know this. It's about 7 weeks, or sorry, 2 months. It's exactly 2 months from today. So today's February 6th. So on April the 6th, 2 months from today, is the written Chidon.
All right.
Okay, now I'll just say to Hananel that the topic that we're learning today, this is the third shiur already with Roubi. The topic that we're learning today are the parakim that are in the syllabus in Dvarim and Yoshua and Shoftim. And that's, by the way, always part of the curriculum, even if it will change next year if you're not for you, but for the next generation.
We can change some chapters in Dvarim, for example.
Dvarim can change.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Joshua and Judges, they remain always. I mean, Genesis. So if there are going to be any changes, it's very slight changes about maybe in chapters in Exodus, for example, or in Dvarim, as you said, Vayikra, right? In those books. Mm-hmm. But the main is going to stay the same. And of course, prophets, Tuvim, we're going to bring new ones. For example, prophets, we have the little prophets, and sometimes we have Tzfaniyahu, Habakkuk, Hosea, and we
it rotates,
Yes, giving up.
But Hananel, I wanted to ask you, when they're studying for the Chidon, sorry, not when studying, about the Chidon itself, because there were some rule changes in recent years about the actual public Chidon. If you could just, very briefly talk about that, meaning how does it work? Once the top 16 make it to the top 16, what happens then?
So we changed it. I think we changed it last year. We did it already on the adults Chidon. Till last year, we had this manner that after the first public round, we are starting from 0, right? We deleted all the points you accumulated so far, and we start to count from now on, all right? And last year, we made a decision that we are going to make you earn your points because we wanna keep those who knows, because the hard part in the contest is the written test, right? This is the hardest. I think this is the hardest part. It's not very hard, but it is hardest in the public. From the first round, of course, and we want those who manage to gain the maximum points or a higher score in this written test, to give them the opportunity to go forward to the latest rounds. Because if we delete the point after the first round, so they're not safe. I mean, they made a lot of efforts and they did the hardest test, and then what, right? So now we start from 0 again. It's not fair. And then because of pressure in the next level, they're going to fail. There is something that is it's very good for the TV, right? It's right, now we clear. Now we start from 0. So it's all new. They all have a chance now, right? It's very good for the television, but it's it's not doing very well to the contestants.
Okay, so just to be clear, so what are the rules this year?
So the score is going to accumulate it till the last round, which is the head-to-head, right? Only in the head-to-head it's going to be 0. All right, but till then, it's going to accumulate it.
Okay, but now, so the first round you could get up to how many? 10 or 12 points?
Well, it's early to talk about it. I mean, we are allowed.
Okay, so and I'll ask one more question about the second round. Hananel, the second round, you have to just, without this number doesn't matter right now. But
computer game. I'll tell you why I am hesitate of telling all the details. because we're always trying to make changes in the games, right? In the structure of the Chidon. So I don't know how it will be exactly, right? The public
So when we get closer,
not already is not written yet. So we made the changes, and I know I can tell you that this year we had like this big meeting with the Ministry of Education, and we will want to do changes and like to do the Chidon younger, like more invite to the audience. So we may bring changes to it. So I can't now, to commit that this is how it's going to be. So I'm very careful about what I'm saying, but the rules are that the score is going to accumulate till the fourth round. And even this is not sure because we have like in the end of the month, the Nalol meet, we will suggest it. And maybe we're going to hear other things there, right? So
okay, so yeah, so Hanel is referring to the meeting of the world board, the international board of the Chidon Tanakh. So decisions will be finalized probably in a few weeks and not yet. Okay, so
this is what I can say now. This is like the situation. This is how it's going to be. But about
so Hananel, is it okay now if we turn the microphone to Ruby a little bit? Let's do some learning, and then after we do a little bit of learning, then we'll come back to you for a few more questions. Is that okay? Just so you could also join us with the learning and give us from your experience, or you want to add one more thing?
I'm in the middle of something, so I cannot stay. So I prefer.
Okay.
If they have questions, I will be happy to hear them now.
Okay.
Or maybe I can come next week if they have questions, and they can I can like answer all of them next week also. Like it's not like urgent, I guess. Or it's very urgent.
Okay, so if anybody has any additional questions about the camp or about the Chidon, Laila.
I have 2 questions. I was watching like one of the older ones, and one of the rounds is timed. Does that still happen?
Again, you saw the adult Chidon, the adult contest? Yeah, and then wait, what you saw?
Yeah, and it was showing that like the round 2 had a time limit. Is there still a time limit on it?
Yes, we hope so. I mean, if all the contestants will come here to Israel, so yes. I mean, but if we'll have to make the contest in Zoom, so no. Because of that, like this.
Yeah, because the Zoom has the delay. But if it's live on the stage, then usually there is a time limit. Yeah, 60 seconds, 75 seconds, depends.
And my second question is, how is the written test structured?
Very good.
But how many are multiple choice? Do you know exactly or approximately? How many are open questions?
Approximately, I think it's like half and half. I think, don't cut me in the word, I think 25 or 30 and 20 open. 30 closed questions, what we call American, the American closed questions.
Yeah, multiple choice.
Multiple choice.
Multiple choice, yes. What we call it American questions? I don't know.
Who knows?
And 20 open questions. All right, this is like if I remember right.
Okay, Jake from South Africa.
How important are all the lists of names for the written test?
All right, good questions. Important, but not that important. All right, maybe you're going to have one question, maybe 2 questions from the lists. So you should answer to yourself, is it important enough for me to now learn all the lists by heart? If I know that there are going to be only 1 or 2 questions about the lists, right? And I can assure you also that in the public quiz, in the public is also maybe 1 question or 2 also. I mean, so this is, but there are levels that this question is important, right? Because like if there is a tie or something in the Miluim, in the tiebreaker questions, for example, we always love to do list questions because they are hard questions And in the
Yeah,
tiebreaker,
the Miluim are the tiebreakers, exactly.
you have to do it hard, all right? So it's a risk you take, all right? So of course you're going to have some questions placed in the test, but if you want now to invest your time on it, just keep in mind that you can like you do your gain and loss, all right? What you gain, what you lost. I always say that the stories are more important, right? They are the majority of the questions are going to be about the stories and the prophecies. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Any more questions?
If there would be somewhere where the psukim seem to like contradict each other in different places, and would they ask from those?
All right. If the psukim are going to contradict themselves from
Like
other
it says
questions,
a number in like Malachim, and then it says a different number in different Hayamim, and the Mefarshim.
we're doing like we investing a lot of effort, in order that this situation will not happen, right? Like we checking the questions very good, and if it will happen accidentally, of course, so we will have to receive your answer if it's correct, right? Like we're going to discuss it while the chidon. But I'm saying it very important. We will not accept questions not from the focus of the chidon, right? You cannot bring like a question answer from other book, even if it's right, may be right? We also are being very careful with that also, right? Not to bring questions from other books that may have similar answers to the questions in the quiz, all right? But we will not accept. So only learn from now the material you have to for the chidon. All right, later on, the rest.
Okay, Laila is asking, can you ask in the written test, will you maybe ask something like from which two books does it say something like that? Or
yes, we can ask it.
Hey, Laila, if you want to explain your question a little bit better, if I didn't explain it correctly.
No, I think that was it. Or like I was asking, like, will it say like which books does it say this, or will it be more like the nationals that we did, where it's like, okay, these are the questions about this book and these are the questions about this book and things like that.
Oh no, so it is, yeah, the questions are not in the order of the books. They could ask you one from Bereshit, and I mean just before Roubi said, who is called Yedid Hashem, and that's in Sefer Dvarim, and it could certainly be just as common as a question from Nehemiah, right?
Yeah,
of course.
As an example.
Not exactly what I meant. I meant more like, will it say in the same question, like I guess I put in the thing, will it be like from which, in two books it says this, what are those two books? Or will it be more like,
it can happen. I mean, we can ask you, of course, which two books mentions this phrase, all right? We can do it, and like it's two answers.
It'll be 2 points, probably.
Where does it say the word ksita? Ksita.
Ksita.
Yeah.
No, Khalil, where?
Or ask me about, I mean, like if there are any completing the sentence, all right? So we're not going to give you to complete a whole pasuk, a whole verse, only one or two words from the verse, right? It's important, not the whole, right? If the verse contain 10 words, so we not give you the first 5, and then we ask you to complete the other 5, all right? So only 1 or 2 words, and each time it's 1 point for each word, all right? Hadassah.
Is the camp mixed?
Yes, of course. Mixed boys and girls. Yes. The camp is not religious camp. I mean, we do save all the rules. I mean, there are prayers for whoever wants. Yes, kashrut, of course, and separated rooms, but it's like not religious in its how do I say it? Like in its inspiration, it's not religious.
Meaning it's open to people from all the spectrum of religion. So religious people and non-religious people could feel comfortable there.
Yes.
And as you know, I mean, being in a
You're happy for
for
this.
a religious person to be with not religious people, and for not religious people to be with religious people, on the one hand, it's an opportunity to get to know other people, but on the other hand, it's also to get to know people that don't keep exactly the same things that you do. So it's something that it's not a surprise for you, of course, because you knew this is the case. But it's important what Hananel said, that Roubi, before you said, what Hananel said is that everything, meaning the rooms are separate, and sleeping arrangements.
We have a rabbi.
We have a rabbi, that's right, the camp has a rabbi. And also, Hananel, correct me if I'm wrong, because this year it's a smaller number, but will you still have that one team which will be the Torani team, even though it's a smaller number? Or we don't know yet because of the smaller.
We cannot know anything.
Probably yes, because I assume there will be people that will want it.
Till April, you won't know anything.
Sorry, say again?
Till April, we cannot know anything.
We can't promise. Okay. But like we said, that there will be keeping all of the rules of kashrut. Shabbat will be kept in public places. But since not everybody is religious, it's going to be the way it is. So you have to know that before you come.
Usually, the first 16 are from like the higher. They are like the religious.
Most of them, not all of them. But we have two Israelis that aren't. Don't forget. Ruby, you wanted to ask something or say something?
No, I wanted to comment. 1 year on there was a situation where one of my students was at the Olami, and she was put. For me, it wouldn't have been a situation, but for her, it was that she was the let's say madricha, the chayelet was not shomeret Shabbat.
Yeah.
And for the girl, she felt very, very uncomfortable, and I'd never been participating in the thing. So she told me, "Did you know that this?" I said, "I have no idea." So what happens is, about a couple of years later, two of my students knew each other, and they made sure that they were together. So for a person who's much more sensitive,
yes,
and I assume that you could ask, "I'd like to be together with someone who is also Shomeret Shabbat."
Yeah. Yes, of course. No, that's for sure. Yes, we're not going to say to put in the same room seculars and religious, right?
Thank you.
Of course. Yes, it's hard.
And you said there's minyanim every day?
Yeah, if you're going to have enough boys,
You better make it, Yitzchak. We're counting on you for a minyan. And of course, Jake also.
Basically, we have, Shacharis, Mincha, Arvist. We have all the minions. Couple Tikkun Chatzot, of course, whoever wants to. They doing Tehillim all day. Yeah, we're going like very seriously with taking everything, but we have to have enough boys.
Yeah. Just
till
information.
Now, according to what I see now, we are in a minority. Yitzchak, so I'm sorry. Maybe Roubi will come to the camp.
Well, I can tell you that through the camp, through the Chidon Tanakh, there have been marriages, zivugim, matches.
Good matches, all right.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just talking yesterday with the deputy, the person who won second place in 2018, and I asked her about her husband, who was the first place in 2018, because he was interviewed by the South Korean television, and I sent her a picture that I found of him being interviewed there.
Yes.
So it's like winning the Chidon Tanakh is instant celebrity. I mean, Hananel can tell you, you're on the news, you're in Wikipedia. Hananel won the adult Chidon in 2015, and not everybody gets as high as Hananel, to actually run the Chidon afterwards, but people get to high places, and the truth is, I have to tell you, I know that you'll also get to high places, not because I know any of you, it's just because when you're 15, 16, or 17 years old, you work hard enough to be national champions in something. I'm sure also when you'll be 25 and when you'll be 45, you'll work hard for something in your life and you'll be successful. It's very simple logic.
In this point, I must tell a little bit of my private story. That I tried first time to get the Chidon in the youth contest in Ireland in a secular school, And I approached the Chidon when I was in the age of 18. So this like was the last year you can compete. And I got into till the national, and then I fell in the national, and I didn't have like another chance because it was my last year. So I was very depressed, of course. And I didn't know anything about the adults competition because in this time it was not an option because it's not existed. So, I mean, it started in 1958, but it was like declined in only 2011, I think 2010, 2011. Yes, the Prime Minister and Gideon Sa'ar renew it. And so when I have the opportunity, when I was in the age of 28, 27, so in the adult Chidon, so I saw it's coming back. So I said, all right. I mean, I took from my first competition when I was in the youth so much. I mean, I learned so much about myself, about how to learn, and I like get infused about the Tanakh since then. So it was like this. I mean, I just want to say that this event of participating in the youth Chidon when I was 18 was like this thing I took with me all these years, because it made me fell in love with the Chidon. And when I approached to compete, so I actually reserved all my knowledge from then because I kept running. I mean, I kept learning all the time. I kept learning. So I only like improved my skills about how to learn. And from this point, it was like really like not really easy, but easier for me to win. And so I just want to say that this is not the end here. All right. So even though you are young now, you have like maybe won't have the another chance to participate in the youth contest, but you will have the adults, and this is like a great achievement also. And now you know how to do it, and
you also get to come to Israel. Just 1 week, not 2 weeks, right? But still, it's an opportunity.
It's a great achievement, and I just want to say that in the adults competition you have like more materials. I think you have 100 more chapters. All right, so it's only getting better, right? So if you love Tanakh so far, you're going to love it more because you're going to learn more Tanakh from this point. And so this is what I have to say about this. So even though you're now in your first year, don't leave the Tanakh afterwards, right? This is like a challenge because we attempt to do it after we compete. So we said, all right, it's beyond. I mean, I did it. It's a phase in my life, but it's not true actually, because only here you can deep in. Now that you have the basic, that you see the general picture, that you know all the Tanakh by heart, maybe. Now you can like deep in and you see wonderful things. And that's what I think. And this is like what's happening to me. And I hope that it will happen to you also. Any more questions?
All right. You could tell them Chizku v'imtzu.
Chizku v'imtzu, of course.
It's in the material, right?
No, there's Chazak ve'ematz.
But not Chizku v'imtzu, okay.
In Yeshua, of course. So
it's actually Chazak ve'ematz is already in Vayelech.
Yes, of course, we also. Wow, I just remember now how I learned all the dissonance changes between like Dvarim and Yeshua about the Chazak ve'ematz. Wow, this was a thing how to learn it. I mean, I hope now that Roubi give you all kind of like hints and methods about how to learn. And if you know Hebrew, not only in Hebrew, we have it translated also. Where we translated what we prepared about methods about how to learn to the Chidon.
Yeah, so it's also on the website. I sent you the links, but I'll send you again also some of the websites where there's also actually a recording of Hananel himself, either speaking by himself, and there's also a recording of Dovi Nadel from the United States speaking, and there's also a recording of Hananel speaking with the champions from I think 2 or 3 years ago about how they studied. And
we have a lot of materials in Hebrew. So if you know Hebrew, so it will be like you have.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things that are translated already.
Yes, but we're working about the translation, of course.
I have two questions again. Yeah, so like what you're saying, do you have any specific tips that we can use while studying on how to like remember?
Again, the question that you asked the question, the juvenile what?
Do you have any like specific tips on how to study that would be helpful?
I have too many. I have too many, so I can't count them all. I can only say what helping to me. So I can give you this like little present that's for me, like in the stories, in the chapters of the stories of Joshua, Kings, Samuel. So I like do tables. I don't like summarize. I don't summarize the chapters, but I do always like doing like tables with different columns. I mean, who said this? Each time I meet a verse, that it's a little bit difficult for me, and I'm not sure I'm going to remember it. So I put it like in a pattern, right? In his column. For example, characters I meet for the first time, all right? So, all right, this is hard thing to remember. Who is this thing, or who is this man? So there is a column after, characters or man, woman, right? Wars, right? And numbers, places, who said to whom. And in this way, I like just taking all these like big chapters, right? And how do I say mefarek? Divide them. I divide them to the verses. Until there is anything that is not in the tables or in any other chart or something else, right? Like I must always work like with the head and with and just all the structure must be changed. I like change the structure. This is like what I'm doing in stories. So in this way, I make sure that there is no such a thing, a verse that I could not know, because I like split all the verses to their names or numbers or everything. All right. This is about stories, about prophecies. So I think my big talent, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a talent or like a gift. Excuse me, I have to just put the computer on. Right, now it's better. So I think I have a gift, and I think you have it also, but you just don't aware of it. Like the listening. I don't know what you listen in every day. Maybe YouTube, maybe Spotify. But I didn't have like these temptations when I was learning at 2015. We didn't have like this very special phone with all to my like very compactic, cell phone, not advanced one, of course. All the prophecies in Hebrew, and it's magic. I can't explain it, but I heard like 2 or 3 chapters each day till I could complete the verses by heart. All right, so it just happened. Till now, I can like complete a verse because I heard it, yes, when I competed. So there are so many methods how to do it. You can do it like a song. If you're a good singer, or you Baal Koreh, like in Shabbat, you go into the Torah and read to the public. So you can do it in Te'amim. So it's wonderful. You can like record it by yourself, not just download it like I did old-fashioned, right? You can do it a new thing. You can sing for yourself those chapters, and you can also read each prophet in like different rhyme. How do you say? Different mangina?
Melody,
different melody, right? So this is like very helpful for not only to me. When I said this tip I don't know if you know Yair Shachak. Maybe you know him from New Jersey, now from New York in the past. So he like won his contest because, and he told me that it's because the tip I gave him. He's like a singer and
Chazan.
גם
יאיר
חזן.
שחר.
כן, גם חזן. So he told me that he managed to won the Chidon, the international adults, because he like adopt my advice about listening. Like he's a big listener, and he just like heard all day long the what he recorded. I mean, the chapters in different melodies, and you can do it also. I mean, it's like there is a price here, right? You won't hear your favorite podcast all day or songs, but instead it's increasing your ability to win, I think, in 50%, because if you know the prophecies, so this is like the hard thing to know, right? This is like the hard part. But if you like remember that you recorded Yeshaya in like this melody, and now you hear you sit in the Chidon, right, in the written text, in the public round, so now you can not only that you can like complete it, you can also remember, this is Yeshaya. I remember like the melody. This is like very, I mean, this is like, for me, it worked wonderful. I mean, this is not the only thing I did with the prophecies. I mean, I still had to do the tables and to compare between the styles of the prophets, right? Yirmiyah, Yeshaya, Zechariah, I mean, they all have like very special word that, for example, Zechariah always uses Emet v'Shalom, and Ishaya uses Hashem Tzvakot, and Yirmiyahu uses other like a type of repeating words. So like it's not the only thing I done, but it's helped me. I think this is what give me the winning, right? Give me the advantage of all of the rest of the contestants, because they've been like older for me. I mean, I think I was the youngest, and I am not. אני לא בעל קורא. I am not reading in the Torah b'Shabbat. So maybe like I don't know. I even think they knew better than me, right? But you know, in the real time, you have like this pressure, and you must be very secure and relaxed that you know the material, and even though you don't know, so happen what happened. I mean, like God is above us, and He like arranged everything. So if I should win, I win, and if I won't, so right, maybe it's not supposed to be. So I think that like what I want to say is that the winner in the contest is not necessarily the one who know best, but the one who know how to learn best, right? And those methods and tips. So it's very important. But in the end, you're the winner. So you know, even though you know the best.
Laila had one more question, and then I think we'll let you go, and we'll continue with the studying. So, and of course, Hananel is available. We can I give them your email address, Hananel?
Yeah, of course, you can give them the mail.
Okay, so I'll give them your email address, and then you could be in touch directly. But Laila, you had another question before you go? We will let him go?
Yeah. How does the Bible camp work? Like,
again, Laila, I'm sorry. I have the difficult.
How does the camp work? Like,
how is the camp? How is the camp? This is the question. Right, like we're traveling all over. I mean, like we are going to see where the Bible happens, actually. I mean, not only we're going also to Masada, to Yad Vashem, to see the Holocaust memories, to the Jewish Agency, to Mount Herzl, all kind of like sites, very exciting sites. But it's like basically very, very, very fun. I mean, we like, we're going to have fun, I think. I mean, we're going to learn also. Basically, want to learn, we're going to have like the staff in the camp. He like has this leadership I talked about before. So this staff is going actually to be there for you, right? To learn with you. If you have any, to give you lessons, to give you tips, right? So you won't feel like alone in all this experience. But also don't forget to have fun, because this is what we're going to do, right? We're going to enjoy there, and it's going like to be, I think, the greatest experience of your life, because you're actually going to meet people from in your age from all over the world, when what brought you here together is the Bible, the book of the Jewish people. So this is a very special occasion, I think. So after this conversation, you should learn harder than what you learned so far, all right? You really should want to come here, and for all many reasons. So we will sum up here, yes?
So Hananel, thank you. Thank you very much. Of course, we'll go into other details in the future as well, but we do have many questions that Ruby prepared, and we don't want to let him go further.
Roubi is the most important thing here, all right? I mean, his
No.
question.
The students are the most important thing.
All right.
Yes, the students are important.
You're going to have a chance to come here, all right? Ask me the questions. It's not make any difference. Maybe. All right, Roubi,
thank you very much.
Thank you all, guys. Good luck. I wish you luck. See you in Israel.
Yeah.
Bye.
Just one slight point. I remember the first time my student was going to the Olami. So she asked me, should she go? Shouldn't she go? So I said, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I think you really, if it was up to me, I think you should go. And she decided, and I gave her my promise that if she decides yes, I'll go over the material. And we end up going over the material 3 times, like in 8 months. And she did very nicely. Actually, just to show you the fact that if you win the national, the #1 spot, does not necessarily mean that you are a shoo-in. In fact, this student, Elisheva Friedman from Passaic, New Jersey, she was tied for second, and it worked out that she and the other person tied for second were able to go, and they did better than the person who won was the Chatan HaTanach of the United States. So you never know. No.
Never know.
Anyhow, okay. So I did allude to say, where do we have ksita mentioned?
What's ksita?
Ksita, where is it mentioned? And how much?
What does it mean in English?
It's a coin. It's a certain amount of
money. A type
money.
of a coin. It's a name of a coin, of a money.
So first of all, in our total material, it's mentioned 3 times. Total material. In today's material, once. Okay. So in connection to what? And how much money? Yes, Hadassah.
Yaakov put Shechem for 100 ksitas.
Okay, what about what's connection to? That's one. In connection to today's material, what is that mentioned? Yitzchak.
Eov's friends all gave him 1 golden nose ring and a golden kasita.
That is correct. That's in Eov Membet. Okay, but which happens to the last paragraph of Eov. But I said in today's material, in connection to what? I'll give you a hint. Lila, go ahead. Sorry.
Was it in Sefer Yoshua they said that Yosef was buried in Shechem, that Yaakov bought for 100 ksitas?
That is correct. It is also the last parak of Yehoshua, parak Chavdalad. Okay. It's interesting. There's an interesting phrase. It says, from a foreign land, Me'eretz Rechoka. One is Me'eretz Rechoka Banu, and I think the other one is Me'eretz Rechoka Ba'u. Ba'u. Okay. And
we came and they came from a foreign land. Who are these two cases?
From a faraway land. So who's saying what, in connection to what is this? One is in today's material, and another one will be in 2 weeks' material. Lila.
Is the one that says we came in, I think it's in Yoshua with the people of Givon. They said we came from a foreign land, like look at our shoes and our.
Correct. That is correct. It's Paratet. Okay. And Yitzchak.
Chizkiyahu told Yeshayahu that the people of Brodach Baladan sent or Meretz Rachel Kami Bavel.
That is also correct. Ba'u, Meretz Rachel Mibavel, and it says Mibavel there. That's what is it? I think either Mlachem Beis Yud Ches Yud Tes. I know it's on the left-hand page of the Quran. That's roughly about the middle of the page. Okay. This is an interesting thing. It's an interesting phrase, latzeit v'lavo. So we have in today's material, lo uchal od latzeit v'lavo, and there was somebody else that it was a he, that he was able to go in and out. It also uses this type of latzeit v'lavo. Okay, about whom are these two people? Not your question, honestly. Livy, you want to take us? Hadassah?
About Moshe?
Which one?
I think the first one.
Correct. Lo uchal latzit b'lavo. It's in Vayelech, Parak Lamed Aleph. That he listen. Time's up. Actually, there's two hints. This is what I'm going to say now is not on Chidon Tanakh, okay, but it's Tanakh. Where is a mention of Moshe Rabbeinu? How do we know that? Way before he was even born. Where is mention of Moshe Rabbeinu? What happens? How many years did Moshe Rabbeinu live? Not your question. 120. Excellent. Now, if you take a look in Bereshit, Perek Vav, okay, it says Bishagam Basar. And if you do the gematria of Bishagam, happens to be Moshe. And in that pasuk, it might be Perek Vav, pasuk Gimel, something like that. I know it's on the right page in the Quran. Okay, so what happens? It says that man will live only to 120 years, and Bishagam is on 345. There's another hint. How do you know?
Yeah, they don't ask you gematria and Chidon.
They don't ask. Nice... I said this is not going to be on the test. Okay. And what happens is Hazinu, Shirat Hazinu. Okay. How do we know that Moshe Rabbeinu actually wrote it? How do we know? So what happens is there's a trivia question. What is the shortest word in the Tanakh? The shortest word in the Tanakh. Yitzchak. And no laughing. No laughing.
The hey in Hazinu, in Hal Hashem.
Ha. The question is, how do you pronounce those two things? Okay. It says that it's bigger when it's written in the Torah. And okay, so what happens if you take the first letter of each pasuk up to and including that hey rabati, the big hey, you'll see that it is up to 345, which is Moshe. This is dry Torah. It's not on the test. Okay. Okay. We had two places in our material, today's material, that says mi lanu. Okay, miyaleh, about whom was it the solution, and in connection to what? In connection to what?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. There are two situations in today's material which says, who will go up for us? Okay. And I didn't mean miyala lanu hashemayma regarding in mitzavim. Okay, so What was the answer?
Meaning who will, it means I think literally who will go up for war for us, right?
First, yes. Okay, who for?
Who will lead us in war? Yeah, who will go
But
first?
whom and in connection to what? Connection to what? I always give women first dibs. So if the women want to answer, bevakasha. And it's not a trick question, honestly. Okay, Yitzchak.
By at the beginning of Sefer Shoftim, when they said who's going to fight the rest of the Canaanim, and Hashem answered Yehuda will go first.
Yeah.
And at the end of Sefer Shoftim, when they answered who should go up to Givon, Hashem also answered Yehuda first.
I could have sworn you said to give on.
To give up.
Right, that is correct. It's interesting that both answers were Yehuda. Okay. Yeah, just to remember that something. Okay. No. I was right. Okay. About whom does it say? Batitznach me'al hachamor. Not your question. Hadassah.
Achsa bas Kalev.
Achsa bat what?
Kalev.
Bat Kalev. Correct. Okay.
And who fell off of a camel?
That was my next. You read my mind.
It's not in today's material, right?
Batipol me'al hagamal. And she fell off of a camel.
Well,
yes,
she then Lila should be she, no?
It's Rivka, no?
Correct. It's in Bereshis Chavdalet.
But the Achsa bat Kalev is mentioned twice, right? The end of Yoshua and the beginning of Shoftim, the story. And there's
at the end of Yoshua?
I think, right? The end of Yoshua and the beginning of Shoftim, if I'm not mistaken, no? No? Okay.
It's in the middle of Yeshua, but it's not on the material.
It's not on the material. That's
at least not my material.
Yeah.
Okay. Where did Reuven and God build a mizbeach? Okay. And what was the representation, the purpose of building that mizbeach? Lila.
I think I know where the where is, I think, then I'm not sure the exact location, but the representation was, so it would be like a witness to say, like, so if the people on the inside of Israel, their children are like, oh, who says you're part of Bnei Israel? Like, you're not in the land. It's like, look, this is the witness to say we're also part of Klal Yisrael.
I would have said that the place is Glilot HaYarden. That's the Hebrew. Yeah, I mean, actually, it's interesting. It says Mizbeach Gadol L'Mareh, a big altar and for vision or for sight. Interesting. Okay. Who said Hashem hu Elokim versus Kael Elokim Hashem, Kael Elokim Hashem? Sounds very similar, right? Not really, honestly. One is, put this way, I'll give you a hint. One is, I'm not telling you which one. One is in today's material, and the other one will be in 2 weeks' material. Yitzchak.
Kael Elokim Hashem was the children of Reuben and Gad, and Hashem hu Elokim Hashem Elokim was all of Yisrael on Har Carmel.
Correct, with Eliyahu. By the way, it's also Chatzi Shevet HaMashev, you know, that also, you know. Okay. The phrase, now you have to be careful. We had pe el pe, we have also panim el panim. You know, this is a third phrase, very similar to that. Okay.
That was
when you say,
that third phrase is what I fell upon on when I went to the regional test in 1989. Pe la fe.
So this also, one second. I mean, this is where it helps to remember which side of the page, you know.
So who did somebody want to start with, like who, like pe el pe,
No,
for example?
no. See this, ready?
You want to do
ready? V'diber piv im piv.
Ooh, his mouth will talk to his mouth.
I said mouth, from his mouth to his mouth. So that's another similar phrase. Panim el panim. Well, let's go Hadassah.
I think panim al panim is Hashem to Moshe.
The two parts, but there's another one in today's material. Panim al panim is also in today's material, but there's another panim al panim. Laila.
Was it that Gidon saw the malach panim el panim?
Right. Wait. Well, hold on a second. But this. 1 second. Hold everything. I have to look at a certain thing. Hold on. Yes, that's correct. And right. So right. That's in Perek Vav.
Yeah.
Okay. In Shoftim Vav. Yes, Yitzchak.
Didn't Yaakov also see the malach panim el panim?
That is correct. That's in Perek Lamed Beis of Breshit. Okay, that's before the Gid HaNasheh. Now, v'diber piv im piv. It's very summary. This is not a simple thing. It's not in today's material, I guarantee you. Yitzchak.
So that Tzidkiyahu would speak to Nebuchadnezzar.
But it's in Yirmiyahu. Yes, it's in Yirmiyahu. By the way, the phrase Yirdof Echad.
Oh, wait. What about pe la fe? What I asked before. Pe la fe, like he. You know where that comes from? Pe la fe. Pe le pe. From. It literally means from side to side. So Yitzchak knows, I see.
Yitzchak.
Menashe filled the Yerushalayim with innocent blood, Pelafeh.
That's right. Menashe filled Jerusalem. I'm Naki, with innocent blood from side to side. Terrible things. I didn't know that when I was in 9th grade. So yeah.
Zekore?
Yeah.
It happens, you know.
Okay, now I do apologize. I'm going to another Zoom call, but because I want this to stay on, so I'm gonna kind of disappear and use my phone for the other Zoom call. But the recording is continuing, so go on. Feel free.
The problem is that, you know, I mean, Chanel did great stuff, but it cuts into my time. You know, I mean, I can't go till 11 o'clock. I could go, but it's not fair to everybody else. You know. Okay. In connection to what do we have Har Eval versus Har Grizim? Hadassah.
I think Har Eval and Har Gerizim were the two mountains used when Hashem gave brachos and klolos. in Israel.
You're right. I'm not disagreeing with that. What you answered. However, I'm not in our material for that. So again, Har Eval and Har Grizim. Okay, it's like for example, if you know something in the Medrash, right? They can't ask you that on the test based on Medrash, you know. So Yitzchak.
Yehoshua built a Mizbeach on Har Eval, and Yosem ben Yerubbaal stood on Har Grizim.
Correct. Where do we have the word atad? Aleph, tet, dalet. It's like some bush or a tree. Where do we have that? Atad. It's probably the ATAD. I have no idea what it is in English. Atad. Ladies, Nava, you have free reign. Trust me.
Maybe in the story that blanking on his name, man, son of Gidon, he just said it. Sorry, Yotam was it? Gives, and it's a thorn bush that consumes everything.
Yotam. So what happened here?
Here, this is the atad in English. That's the official name in English, and it says box thorn, desert thorn, has a lot of That's what it looks like. I guess the flower.
Barkanim, is a thorn. So can we? I'm losing the. How do I?
Sorry. That's the atad.
Okay. So what were the different trees that were mentioned by the what we call the mashal of Yotam, Hadassah?
I think olive tree, grapevine, fig tree, and thorn bush.
And the atad, right? Give me two cases. It's in our material where, in today's material, because I could tack on some more, where a woman's role was actually, people were afraid because of a woman's role. Okay, I'm trying to be very specific. Hadassah.
Maybe in the story of Abimelech, when Abimelech was afraid that a woman would kill him.
That's one. Where's the other one? I can give you a hint, but Lila.
I mean, I don't know if this is the one, but there's the story where Yael kills Sisera in this.
In my opinion, you're very warm, but not the right answer. Okay, Yitzchak.
The people were afraid of Asalia when she was ruling over the land.
I said in today's material, no. What happens is what Barak ben Avinoam, Dvorah went with him because if she didn't go, what would they say? Right? In Shoftim, 4th Perek, right? What would they say? So she said, I got to go with you, By the way, it's interesting that Neviah is not so common in the Tanakh. So about whom to say Neviah? Lila, one. Give me one.
I mean, there are the 7 Neviot, but I don't know if it says about Neviah probably in today's material you want or in general.
You have in today's material, we definitely have one.
Well, there's Dvorah in today's material.
Dvorah, yeah. Where else? Hadassah.
Huldah?
Who?
Huldah?
In today's material. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. Chulas in Melachim Beis. Okay. Yitzchak.
Oh, I was also going to say from in the Sefer Yeshayahu, it says Vo'ekrav el Hanaviyah.
Either with his wife, but what happens? You have Miriam, right? Miriam in Shemot.
That's not in today's material.
Right. Maybe I was. You're right. That's too easy. Way too easy. I was going to say, what did a king carry with him? That's not a trick question, honestly. Not a trick question. It's in today's material. What did a king carry with him? Money, a sword. How about a Sefer Torah? Right? It's in right? In Perik Yud Zayin, right? In the third Aliyah, I think, of Shofatim. Okay. Yeah. Which Shevet was known for teaching Torah? Now, there are many proofs. Lila.
Was, I think, Yisachar.
No. I could give you, I can give you, quote you, Malachi Perik Beis, but in today's material, Yitzchak.
My Shevet Levi says Yoram Mishpatech Yaakov.
Now, what happens that's correct. In Malachi Beis says Siftei Chohen in that area. In fact, in actual material, if I'm not mistaken, in Divrei Hayamim Bet, Yehoshaphat sent the Leviyim to go out and teach the people. It's in our material of this year. Yeah, that's kind of easy, right? Right. Okay. It's interesting, by the way. We had 5 kings in Bereshis Perek Yud Daled, which happens to be in Lech Lecha. It's there happen to be also 5 kings in today's material. But what I want to highlight is very interesting that this is not in English the word ho-hum. Ho-hum, but ho-hum was one of those kings. Now it's interesting that if you take a look at the concordance, many of those kings' names are mentioned only one time in the whole Tanakh. This is an FYI, What were the names of the 4 giants? What are the names of the 4 giants? Now, 3 of them should be trivial. It's the 4th one that is the interesting one. Lila.
There's Shishai, Achiman, I think, and I don't remember the third one.
Hadassah.
There's Sheshai, Achiman, and Talmai. I'm not sure about the 4th one.
That's I wanted to see. Okay, Yitzchak, what is the fourth one?
Arba.
So the question is it Arba or is it Adam? What happens if you take a look at the last verse in Joshua chapter 14? Okay. Hold on. Show you now. Right, last. Let's see. Adam. So it's either Arba or Ha'adam, you know. I better check that out. I have homework to do. But yes, this is a very easy question. How old was Kalev when he got Hebron? Hadassah?
85.
85. Okay, now it's interesting math. Okay, what year of the conquering of the land of Israel did he receive Hebron? It's just math. Lila.
Is it 5?
Yitzchak.
7.
Whoa, 7? How did you get 7?
Because Meraglim were sent in year 2.
Yeah. How old was he when he got sent?
40.
Okay, me'achos. Okay, so 85 minus 40 is what? Not
45.
Simple. 45, excellent. How many years were they in the Midbar?
Another 38 years.
It's 39, if it's the second year, it's 39, no?
Well, it depends what time of year it was.
I assumed it was the 6th, but you know. Okay, Aminamar, so it depends. Okay, Aminamar, Kichochi az uchochi ata. Like my strength was, my strength is now. Livia.
Was it Shimshon to Delilah?
No. Lila.
Is it Moshe? And like where at the end of Dvarim when he's dying, he's like, my strength is the same as it was then as now.
No. Sorry. What? Yitzchak.
Also Kalev.
It happens to be Kalev. It's in the 14th parak of Yoshua. It's a very interesting one, you know. There are in today's material that 2 times where it says that, I'm not going to say in connection with what, but more people died from X than let's say they died from a sword, you know. And there are 2 cases where more people died than something else. Okay, Hadassah.
I think more people died by the hailstones than by the sword.
In connection to what?
When the 5 Amorite kings, when they tried to flee from the caves, Hashem brought hailstones down.
Yes. Okay. And what's the other one in today's material? I'll give you a hint.
More people died when Shimshon
Right.
crashed the buildings down.
And how many people died then?
3,000?
Right. Okay, good. Yes. Yes, Yitzchak.
I was gonna say also next week we have in the forest of Ephraim, more people died by Avshalom than in the war.
Oh, of Shalom. There's a phrase, Sefer Hayashar, or the righteous, or the straight book. Where is that mentioned? And the answer should be two situations, two places in our total material. Hadassah.
In Sefer Yoshua, when Yoshua made the sun stand still, Givon and the moon in the valley of Ayalon, it says this is recorded in Sefer Yoshua. And then when David is giving his lamentation over Shaul and Jonathan, he says, we must teach the children of Yehuda the archers bow. This is not written in the book of Yoshua.
That is correct. The first one happens to be in Yoshua Parak Yud, chapter 10. Another one is chapter 1 in Shmuel Beis. Where do we see that Hashem listened to a man, to a person? It's not a trick question, but Lila.
I don't know if this is right, but could it be when like Yeshua asked Hashem to hold like the sun, not the sun, but like to stop the sun from moving? And he listened?
If I was Avshalom Kor, says, well, why are you doubting? Yes, of course, says, you know, V'lo haya kayom hahu lefanav v'acharav lishmoa Hashem b'kol ish. Right, in that same parak of Parak Yud. You know, now let's see if you guys notice the detail. From which nation was Anshe Givon? From which nation? Now you could say, remember the 7 nations in Eretz Canaan. So from which nation? Livia, you.
I was gonna say the national.
The what?
Yeah, I thought you were talking about someone else.
Okay.
I heard it wrong because my audio is a bit messed up.
Lila.
Either Chiti or Chivi, but I think it's Chivi.
Yitzchak?
Chivi.
Chivi. Okay. And 2 places in Yoshua that you can understand. Now, right. I just remembered something. No. Well, okay. Who had their 70 sons killed and who had almost 70 sons killed? Hadassah.
I think one was Gidon and one was Achav. And Gidon had almost 70 sons killed.
Correct. It's interesting because what happens is in today's material, so they talk about one had like was it altogether 70, but wasn't 70 sons, but the 70 sons was with Gidon, and Yotam was Kinechba, he was hiding, which is interesting because you do have in our total material a situation where some son was swooped away and saved when he was a very young age, Yes, Hadassah.
Is it Yoash?
Yes. That is from Atalia, right? right? That's an interesting one, by the way, Natalia. I mean, I haven't viewed in a while, but you'll have, it says also like something like Nishkafa Bada Chalon, something like that. It's the, if I recall correctly, it's something like, you know, she was looking out the window and, that reminds me, oh no, that's next week, I can ask. I was gonna say, which was, I know, that's one of them is from today's material. Who was let out through a window? Okay, I hope you'll, of course, Lila's gonna give me two answers to this, right?
At least one, the Shtei Meraglim at the beginning of Sefer Yoshua were let out of Rachav's window.
Right, the Shnei Meraglim, right?
Mhm.
The Shnei Meraglim. Okay, but that doesn't, what's my second case?
In this week's material?
I didn't say that. I said, one, what you answered was in today's material. But where was the other case? I'll give you a hint.
I know who it is. It's David. He goes out his window when Shaul's men are coming for him.
Who let him out?
Michal, his wife.
Excellent. That's in Shmuel Aleph Perek Yotet. Right. Listen, I'm not expecting to know, but it's just numbers. To me, it's just numbers, you know. But it just helps me. The way I learn is it helps me if I have to look it up. So I say, oh, no problem. It's, you know, it's Shmuel Perek Yotet, right? In fact, remember that where it says Lama Kacha Rimitani, right? Why did you trick me? You know, because that's in next week's material. Okay. I made a note to myself, okay. In connection to what does it say Nikudim versus Nikudim?
Can you say the translations, please?
Well, the pro are both like spotted, I would have to guess. But one is Nikudim in E, one is Nikudim with a Shva. Yitzchak.
And Nikudim is the bread that the people of Givon brought. It was Yahweh Shaya Nikudim.
Right.
I don't know what Nikudim.
Nikudim? Monsieur, if I say Bereshit Perek Lamed Aleph, Lamed. That's a big hint. Bereshit Perek Lamed. What could it be? No, Hadassah.
The sheep and the goats with Yaakov and Lavan.
That is correct. Nikudim, Vrudim, you know, a lot of the Tluim, Nikudim, Vrudim, something like that, you know. Right. By the way, it's interesting. We talked about, you know, Lama Rimitani and something like that, you know, we had with the, you know, Yaakov Lavan, but we had in today's material, Lama Rimitem Otanu Lemor. Lama Rimitim. Why did you plural trick us? Yes, Laila.
It was Israel, I'm pretty sure. Israel to the people of Givon.
Right. How many people from Shevet Binyamin died? It's interesting. Yeah, Yitzchak.
26,100.
This probably wouldn't be it would be an unfair question because it's confusing, okay? Because depending on how you calculate, etc. Ready? I just want to make sure that I'm quoting correctly. Yeah, I was right. Okay. Almin amar ish bachur iter yad yamini. Yad yamino, sorry, yad yamino. That means it's a lefty. Okay. So Hadassah.
A had been Gera.
That's why I asked the question. No. it was semi-trick, but you have to. I said ish bachur. That's the trick. Ish bachur iter yad yamino. Yitzchak.
The 700 people from Shevet Binyamin who could throw a slingshot to a hare and not miss.
Yes. Right. But it says, if I didn't say Bachur, ish iter yad yamino, then the answer would have been Gera, right? It's not fair, you know. I need much more time. There's so much material, you know. Obviously, the main thing is to go over. Yes. Who cut off 70 the toes, it's not really, it's incorrect to say toes. It's really more the big toes, sorry. The big toes from hands and feet, okay? Who did that? And who had 24 fingers and toes? Hadassah, just answer one part.
The first part or the second part?
Excuse me?
So Adoni Bezek, the king of Bezek, cut off. He had 70 kings' sons. He cut off.
Correct. Okay. And who had 24 fingers and toes? Not in this week's material, but it's in our material. Yitzchak.
Ishmadon.
Yeah, at the end of chapter 21 in Shmuel Beis, right? It's the last ring. I wasn't going to answer this. There's a word. Actually, it's interesting. I remember listening to someone quoting a pasuk, and the problem was he was quoting from Tehillim Perek Yud Chet instead of the Shmuel Beis Perek Chaf Beis. I apologize 1 second. Oh, really? Okay, thank God I didn't go nuts on this stuff. Yes, it's very interesting. Which nation kind of prevented, I don't know if prevented, but they prevented that it wasn't totally captured by Jews? It's a bad question because there could be multiple answers for it, but it's connected to next week's material. And it's, you see, if I said it was close by to Yerushalayim, then you'd know the answer. What would you think it would be, Yitzchak?
The Yevusi.
Yevusi. It's in our material in Shoftim Perek Aleph. Okay, but what happens is it's connected to Shmuel Beis Perek Hey with David HaMelech, you know, and that's where the Mitzudat David, you know. What was, okay, what was another name for Dvir? Yes, Hadassah.
Kiryat Sefer.
Excellent. What was another name for Kiryat Ye'arim? Yitzchak.
Machane Dan.
Machane Dan. Right.
It says behind Kiryas Ye'arim.
Behind? That's Perkut Ches. No, of Shofatim. Behind? While I'm looking at this, name me 3 quote unquote people. It says Vayidar something neder Lashem. Ladies, not a trick question. We have one in today's material, right? Elila.
I can name 2, I think. There's Yiftach in today's material, and then there's Yaakov when he was on his way to Haran.
Yeah, what happened to Bamidbar Perek Chaf Aleph? Yes, Yitzchak.
Yisrael.
Yisrael. What happens? That's with the Melech Arad, right? Arad Melech HaKnani. No, it's the beginning of Perek Chavav. It says Vayishb Mimenu. Vayishb Mimenu. It's an interesting word. Like it's Vayichad, Vayishb. It has this a shva under the last letter. It's strange. Vayichad has a dagesh chazak and dalet, so you know. And Vayishb also. This is okay. How did Gidon know that he will conquer Midian? Not a trick question, honestly. Lila.
So Hashem told him, if you want to know, like, take your, or is it the one with just the dew and the fleece?
No. How did he know that he was going to defeat Midian? It's like Martin Luther King in America says, I had a dream.
Yes, he went into the Midian camp, and in the Midian camp he overheard a dream.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear that as the answer. You know, you told me in a different parak. You're talking about Perek Vav, about the, Tal and all that stuff. Gizat, yeah, go ahead. What was the dream?
I don't remember the dream. I just know it was like Chalom Chalamti.
Go ahead, Livia.
Was it like the barley and it rolled down the hill and it basically went onto the tent?
What I wanted to bring down was, it says, Slil Lechem. So Slil. So what happens is, it's written Tzadik Lamed Vav Lamed. Okay, that's how it's written, but we say Slil. And it's translated as like a burnt from the coal. Okay, so the Radak, who's a commentary on the Tanakh, he says, I said it's written Tzadik Lamed Vav Lamed, but he says here's an example of Ehevi. The Aleph, Hey, Vav, Yud are interchangeable. So instead of the Vav, it's a Yud, Slil. It's in Hebrew, it's called Charara. It's like a charred thing, and that's how we burn up a place, How many people might have fought Midian? With Gidon. Again, Yitzchak.
32,000.
32,000, right. Now it's interesting. Where was this place? What was the name of this place where he had the men gathered? Not a trick question, honestly, but there's a reason why I want to bring it down. A couple of reasons why I will bring it down. Yes, Olivia.
Was it in the hill of Moreh?
Say it again.
My microphone, like my sound's really bad on here, so I probably sound a bit odd. Hill of Moreh. Is that near a valley? Is it?
No. 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 In Hebrew, it'd be Ein Charod. Ein Charod. It's a Mayan. Ein is like a Mayan, a well, a spring. Charod. Now, we should know that, for example, there was a place in our material which says it was a place that they cried. That they cried, right? Yeah. Yes, I am. So what happens is, so how do you remember Ein Charod? How would you remember that? Because what does it say in material in the 7th chapter of Shofetim? It's not a play on words, but I believe that, the place a lot of times indicates something. So it says like this. You do the calculation of 32,000. It doesn't say 32,000 outright. It says 22,000 were eliminated. And then from the 10,000 that left, only 300 were the ones who were chosen, okay? But initially, the first wave of elimination says, in Hebrew, it says, Mi yarei b'chared yashov v'yitzpo mehar hagilad. Okay, and this is Ein Charod. Who is afraid? Who is, fearful and afraid? He should return in the morning from Har Gilad, and it's called Ein Charod. So Mi yarei b'chared Ein Charod. Okay, but I just want to also teach you something else. It says Yashov. He should go back. V'yitzpor. And Vitzpor means not a bird like tzipor. Vitzpor means, and in the morning, he should return from Har Gilad. Now it's interesting. The word Vitzpor is not a common word. Does anybody know how to say in Aramaic morning? Yitzchak.
Safra.
Safra. Safra is morning. So Vitzpor here is, and in the morning you should return from, from Har Gilad. It's just interesting, you can mix different languages and you get this, like we said, Ve'ata me'rivavot kodesh, right? In Perek Lamed Gimel Dvarim, Ve'ata means and came. Aleph Taf Aleph in Aramaic is ba. Okay. Right, but then we have this thing, we said, lo yecharatz kelev lishono, right? So did we have something, so we learned that in Sefer Shmot, right? Lo yecharatz kelev lishono, when it came to makat bechorot, right? The dogs were silent, they didn't bark, okay? Where else do we have something that nobody barked or made noise? And who was that? It's not a common word, so that you can't forget it. Go ahead, Navid, you want to guess? If you don't, you can ask Yitzchak. Yitzchak, it's your court. The ball's in your court.
After Yehoshua fought the 5 kings, it says Lo charatz levnei Yisrael ishas l'shono.
So the answer is Bnei Yisrael. They didn't. So here, but you have also the kasher yalok hakelev. That's how you'll know it's interesting, okay? Whoever licked the water like a dog, he is part of it, okay? But if you bow down on your knees to drink the water, you're not counted. So 9,700 were eliminated in that show, okay? It's interesting that the word Pura, if I recall correctly, is mentioned. Oh, you want to shut off? Okay, it's shut off. Okay, the Pura is mentioned a couple of times, and Pura was the name of the Nar who went with the Gidon. Okay, but you'll see that Pura is also mentioned other places. Yeah, there are two. Okay, what was the password to cross Mabrot Hayarden, the crossings of the Jordan? What was the keyword, the password? Okay, not your question. Yes, Yitzchak.
Shibolas.
Shibolet, right. Oh, that just reminds me. In our total material, what is the highest number of people who got killed? I could make it even finer in the sense that they got killed in one night. But in our material, it's numero two, number two, the greatest number that got killed. Okay, and who were they? And what's the two questions? One is the number in both questions, and the second was in what situation? Okay, this is our total material. Lila, you want to Yitzchak?
Sancherib's army of 185,000 were
True.
all died in one night by the Malach Hashem.
Yeah, and
over here, 42,000 people were killed from Ephraim.
Really? I didn't think so. How about if we take a look in Sefer Shoftim, the chapter 8, verse 10. Perchet Pasuk Yud. It says, V'zebach v'tzalmuna b'karkor u'machanehem imam kam chameshet eser elef. They were like 15,000 left. Kol 100. They all that were left. Mikol machanei v'nei kedem, from all of the camps, the camp of the sons of Kedem, v'hanofalim, and those who died, meya v'esrim elef ish sholev charv. 120,000 died. So you have 120,000 here, right? So that's not 42. How many people from Shevet Binyamin remained without a wife, and where did they get these wives eventually? Not a trick question, ladies, not a trick question. I know Yitzchak's raising his hand, but I'd like to give other people an opportunity. I'd like to give Lila an opportunity. Listen, I'll tell you, it's Sefer Shoftim Perikaf Aleph, okay?
I didn't get there yet before today. I was only on Perkid Gimel.
Sorry. But that's, by the way, Perikut Gimel has Akara, right? It's mentioned Akara in Perikut Gimel, right? Eshel Manoach and Panim El Panim. Okay. It's interesting, by the way, that near Beit Shemesh, where Amichai lives, there is past Beit Shemesh, not far from that, is a place called Sorah. It's a kibbutz, and they have also, you can get married there. My niece got married there, one of my nieces. So what happens is that's in like which Shevet was Shimshon from? Now, not your question, honestly. You did Yud Gimel, right? You did Yud Gimel, or you up to it?
I didn't do it yet, but I know the story. I know that. Can you repeat the question?
I said, what Shevet was Shimshon from?
Was it Dan, maybe?
Dun, yes. Okay, correct. So, Yes. Okay. Name me in our material 2 places of 1,100 silver coins.
Where did the boy go?
I don't know. It's right here. 1,100. 2 places. Okay. And there's another one for, it reminds me of another question. Yeah, Yitzchak, go ahead.
Go ahead.
One of them was what the Plishtim promised Delilah for finding out Shimshon's strength. And the other one was the mother of Micha. That's how much was stolen from her.
Yeah, who stole?
Micha.
Micha. Yeah, right. That's my wife's voice. Okay. Right. 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 It's as far as numbers go, they can ask, like, for example, number of children. They could say, how many years was this a person in Navi? To me, it drives me nuts. It's trying to figure out who said, Ki atzmechem uvesarchem ani. Ki atzmechem uvesarchem ani. We have a similar phrase, but in this case, it's a plural. Ki atzmechem uvesarchem ani. Yes, Laila.
Is it Avimelech to the people of Shem? Not Shem, but is it Shem?
Yeah, Balei Shem. Well, it's to the mishpachat of his family. You have Isha Zonah a few times in our total material. One is where we have 2 in today's material. Lyle, you say one.
Oh, I can do one from today's and one from another place. In this one, it's Rachav was called an Isha Zonah.
Rachav, yes, and yeah.
And in another place, you have.
I know why you can't do the other one, the one which I want. Okay.
In Sefer Hashaya, there's what's it called? He marries an Isha Zonah, or at least it says.
Yitzchak.
Shimshon went in Aza to the house of Anisha Zonah.
Yeah, it wasn't Delilah, it was someone else. It reminds me, okay? Name me 2 cases where someone carried on their shoulder, I would say shoulder, okay, something, and what was it, and who was involved? In today's material, 2 cases. Okay, Lila, you say one, and then Yisrael will say.
I believe it's also with Avimelech, where they're cutting down wood or something, and they put it on the shoulders, and they surrounded a migdal, and they set it on fire.
Yeah, okay, so that's one. Yitzchak.
Shimshon carried the doors of Aza up to the hill.
Right. That's Perek Design, beginning of Perek Design. Yeah. From Muncie. Yes. Right. By the way, this interesting phrase, tabur haaretz, is only mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, twice in our total material, in Tanakh, but in our material. Tabur haaretz. That's interesting. What is tabur haaretz? Do you know what your belly button is called in Hebrew? Amichai is going to tell you. It's tabur. Tabur. It's spelled the same way. Tet beis vav resh. And why is that? Because the belly button is physically pretty much the center of your body. Okay, so tabur haaretz is mentioned in Tanakh twice. Yes, Yitzchak.
Zavul told Gaal, Gaal told Zavul that he saw people coming up from Tabur Haaretz, and one group was coming from Elon Ma'onim.
Gaal was telling Zavul, right? Yeah, and the other one happens to be in Cheskel Perek Lamed Ches, which is in our material. Okay, Interesting, okay? We have two cases about salt. Okay, one is in today's material and one is in 2 weeks material. Okay, so what is in today's material about salt? Okay, and what is in 2 weeks material?
About what?
Salt, S-A-L-T, melach. Yisrael, you're thinking or you know? Okay, you say one.
Avimelech, by Shechem, he burnt it to the ground and planted it with salt.
By Yizre'eha melach. Okay, what's the other one? Melach. We mentioned actually,
when I asked the question, it had to do with melech, I believe.
Right. Yeah.
I am back, but I'm going now to my chavruta and Sefer Yechizkel.
I apologize.
No, go on. It's being recorded. Everything is good, and we're planning a new Aron Kodesh in our shul. So
who's going to stop it? So if
I'm here. I'll stop the recording. Don't worry.
Okay, you tell me.
See you later.
I feel badly. I mean, this is late. It's late. Yeah, where's that?
Yoshua Perek Aleph.
Right, of course. Okay. With second one, Melach was with Elisha. Remember that it was they couldn't drink for it. It's thrown water. It's good. It's the end of Melachim Beis Perek Beis. Okay. We kind of touched upon, but I'm throwing from a different side. Where do we see midah keneged midah? Midah keneged midah. You can give me two cases actually. Yeah, but go ahead, Yitzchak.
Like a place where it says that it happened, midah keneged midah, or just a place where we see that it happened?
We see. I didn't say place. In connection to what?
In that Shimshon went after his eyes and the Plishtim poked out his eyes.
Really? I wouldn't say that. I would say Adoni Vezek in Shoftim Perek Aleph, and then you'd also have here in with Avimelech, okay, and Anshe Shechem. It says ve'et kol ra'at anshe Shechem heshiv Elokim b'rosham. You know.
But there's also the midah keneged midah where we can say Rachav and the spies. Since Rachav saved the spies, they saved her.
Yeah, but you don't have that. You know that like a phrase which says that. The phrase of ayin chaf vav reish achor is like abominable in the nimas. So where do we have that? I can think of two places in our material.
Sorry, can you repeat, please? It's a little.
Where do we have achor? You know, like it's abominable. You know, it's disgusting. So where do we have that? Yes, Yitzchak.
By what Yoshua told Achan, he said, "You have made us ugly," and they called the place Emek Achor.
Emek Achor, that's correct. And again, this is you see that a place named after something which happens, like we say Habochim, you know. Okay, where's another one?
In Sefer Hosea, it says Emek Achor LePesach Tikva.
Our material, we said Achor with Yiftach and his daughter. Okay, in Perek Yud Aleph, it has here Hachreya Hich Ratini Va'at Hayit Ba'ochrai. You know, it's interesting. If you take a look, the word Ba'ochrai, the way it's written, is the same letters, but in reverse of Hachreya Hich Ratini. It's interesting. There's a whole question about, why didn't Yiftach ask for Hatarat Neder, and then you could have asked also the same thing. Why didn't with Shevet Binyamin and the rest of the people say, listen, had they known that they wouldn't have people, then they would have reneged. They wouldn't have had something like that. There's a phrase, Maliv Alach, by the way, as FYI, that is mentioned in our total material a few times. Just you should be aware. Right, 42,000 is not, relatively speaking, a lot compared to other places. How many days did Shimshon say that they can, if they come up with the answer, then he'll reward them? Yes, Lila.
It's 7 days.
7 days. It's interesting. How did you understand B'terem yavo hacharsa? B'terem yavo hacharsa.
You're gonna have to say. I haven't learned it in Hebrew. I've mostly learned it in English.
Yitzchak.
Before the sun set.
Yeah. So charsa is shemesh. Yavo is set. It says we have in Bereshit Chav Ches Va'Shemesh, right? With Yaakov is fleeing, which reminds me, where was Yehoshua buried? Not your question. And you could give me two slightly different answers, but they both mean the same thing. Yes, go ahead, Yitzchak.
In Sefer Yehoshua, it says Timnas Serach, and Sefer Shoftim says Timnas Cheres.
I never got that, but hold on. Correct. Right. It's, by the way, it's just it's switching the letters around. That's all. You could say mitzvon lahar gash. See, I was waiting. You could say mitzvon lahar gash. Okay. We have two situations where someone or something split or hit something, and all of a sudden, tons of water, a lot of water. In who and in connection to what? Yeah, Lila.
So there's in Moshe, like with the rock, which is why he couldn't go into Israel. And in today, I'm pretty sure Shimshon, after he was killed a bunch of Plishtim, he was very thirsty, and he's like to Hashem, am I going to die of thirst? I don't remember the location though.
No. But who broke? Who smote?
Shimshon.
Hashem. It says, Vayivaka Elokim et hamachtesh asher ba'alechi vayetzu mimenu mayim. Actually, it's really interesting. Ready? You have to be careful, because in Bishalach, there he smote v'hikita vatzur, or v'hikita vatzur, okay? But in Chukat, there's no, that's the whole problem. It says v'dibartem el hasela, it's not hit, right. How many times did Delilah nudge Shimshon? Okay, tell me the secret. Tell me your secret. And actually, in one of them, this is really unbelievable. In one of them, he didn't say v'chaliti v'hayiti ka'achadam or kachol adam. Okay. Which, so how many times? Yeah, Lila.
I'm guessing, I think it was either 3 or 4 times.
Well, now if I took a coin and flipped it, which one is it?
Let's go 4.
Correct. And the third time, he does not say "V'chaliti bayiti ka'achad or kechol adam." The last one, he says kechol adam. Okay. Right. Yeah. We did that. It's interesting. Yeah. 1 second. Hold on. Oh, yes. We have a phrase, Chagul Klei Milchama. But the reason why I was thinking this, hold on. We have in a phrase, a well-known phrase, Chagur Ephod Bad. So Chagur Ephod, it's not this week's material, but it will be in next week's material. About whom is Chagur Ephod Bad. It's only twice in the whole Tanakh. Yitzchak.
Shmuel and David.
Correct. Okay. But Chagur Klei Milchama is referring to the 600 that Shevet Dan, Mishpachat Hadani took. Okay. Now, what's really interesting that that it was it mentions Novach somewhere. Yeah. Why did the it's interesting, by the way, it's interesting how many Meraglim went out from Shevet Dan? You don't give me the answer already, Yitzchak.
5.
5, right? But you know what's really interesting? Because that's the same 5, it's used 5. Where do we have 5 others? Where do we have 5 prominently?
5 what?
5, like, I won't say spies, but 5 representatives.
There are the wars with the kings, and there are 5 kings.
How about if I give you a hint of
For the 5 people from each Shevet that went out to check out the land.
How about Bereshis Mem Zayin? Vayigash.
Oh, he sent
Yosef presented. Yosef presented his five of his brothers to Paro, right? Ro'etzon. Yes. What is another name for Laish? Are we finished? For Laish. Laish is a city. No. In fact, this is a second question to this. Okay. But well, what is it? Are you finished, Yitzchak? That's a joke. That's a hint, by the way. And what's the answer?
Well, in Sefer Yeshua, it's called Leshem, but both places says they then called it done.
What do you mean? Excuse me. Leshem is not our material.
But then it says they called it done.
It's done. Right? So are you finished? Done. Are you done? Okay. So what happens is that, but it's interesting. The 2 places you have V'ulam blank Shem Ha'ir Rishona. So what are the 2 places that we've known in our material? Yes, Lila.
So there's Hebron, which was known as Kiryat Arba.
Wait. I'm quoting a phrase here. V'ulam blank Shem Ha'ir Rishona.
Oh, so maybe Luz Beted.
It's Luz. luz. Ulam luz shem ha'ir larishona. And what's the other one? We just mentioned it. Laish. Ulam laish shem ha'ir larishona. Right? Why didn't the Ish from Beit Lechem Yehuda want to stop in Yevus? We kind of alluded to it already in this Yitzchak. Why?
Because there was an Ir Nachri.
Right. And that it's fitting the beginning of Sefer Shofatim, right? That it wasn't conquered. And that it connects to the Shmuel Beis Parakeh, right?
The person says they did conquer it, but Yehuda conquered their part, and then Binyamin didn't conquer their part.
By the way, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I was talking to somebody on the way to Shul, but person's not Jewish, and I was talking about, I was taking questions since it's Yedid Hashem, so which we talk about as Binyamin, right? So the question is, why? Why is it Yedid Hashem? They can't ask you this, but we're just talking. Yes, why?
Because that's where the Kodesh HaKadoshim was.
Oh, so that's correct. Okay, because what happens is, we talk about Yehuda, because Yerushalayim, the Beit HaMikdash, was on two pieces of land. Part of it was Yehuda, part of it was Binyamin, but Binyamin had the Kodesh HaKadashim, so therefore, and that's why it's some person, that's Yedid Hashem, yeah, there's, okay, yeah, we'll finish with the last question. There's so much to do. I apologize, really, is that who cut something into 12 pieces, and what did they cut? Or what was cut? And who cut into, also could say 12 pieces, okay, and what was cut? Okay, one is in our material, one is in 2 weeks' time. Okay, Lila.
I think I know the one in 2 weeks' time. Is it? I'm pretty sure the Navi was Eliyahu, but there was a Navi who cut a piece of garment into 12 pieces and gave 10 pieces to, I believe, Yerovam, and said, you're going to roll over that team.
Correct. I think was that Perek Yud Aleph, I think, no? I think it should be Perek Yud Aleph. I know it's definitely on the left-hand page of the Quran, but again. And then what else? And Yitzchak?
The man from Levi cut up the Pilegesh.
Right, into 12 pieces. No? Yeah, listen, I apologize. And remember, this is Lo niyata v'lo nirata kazot l'miyom alot b'nei Yisrael me'eretz Yisrael ad hayom hazeh. Simu lachem alea utzu v'daberu. You talk it out. Lady and gentlemen, it was a pleasure. I again apologize profusely. Next week with Shmuel Aleph and Shmuel Beis. And remember, said, Kol hamarbe or hamarba lilmod harei zeh or zot mishubach or mishubachat. Okay? That's what it is. What Hannah was saying about in a sing-song is if you have a Tiferet Yisrael on Masechet Avot, Perek Aleph, Mishnah Tedvav, you'll see one of the things to improve the memory is by music. I don't know how people memorize lyrics. To me, I just like the music. But I lane the Torah, I lane this I do it in the Haftorah trup, and it helps. What can I tell you? But Lyle, thank you very much. Yitzchak Lyle Tov. Amichai, thank you. We'll wrap it up.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Lyle Tov, Shavuot Tov. Where's Amichai? Amichai. Amichai.